Richard Crouse.
The making of the film, you would have spent an awful lot of time really intensively watching these movies over and over again. Did you take anything away from them as an adult that was different than you would have when you were a teenager watching them?
That's a great question. I don't think, we did see them over and over again during the process of making the film, but we also watched them over and over because, it's said in our film, they're always on.
Right.
So it's kind of hard to escape them, and it's also really hard to turn them off. And I must have seen each of these films at least 20 times each. But still, if tonight I was flipping around, I didn't see anything good on, and one of these titles was on, I'd still watch it. And I think what I kind of came away with is that, high school is really kind of a microscopic example of kind of how the whole world acts as you get through it. Even in inter-office relationships and stuff, there's always those kind of stereotypical people that you encounter. And I think those films have held up for so long because everyone is a teenager at some point. You can't not be a teenager. So when you're a teenager and you're going through it, it feels so close to you. And when you're able to look back at it, it feels like you're watching your own home movies. That's what I think.
Right.
I don't think I didn't sit and analyze the kind of things that he was able to get away with. But what I did find is that these films feel for studio films, they feel like they're made independently.
Mm-hmm. I've always thought that about them.
What's that?
I've always thought that about them, that they didn't feel like the other stuff that was coming out around them, and I always attributed that to him being so successful that he was just kind of able to work on his own and make the movies he really wanted to make with very little interference.
Yeah, and any movies that even come close to having the same sort of vibe are now all independent movies, and studios don't seem to be able to do it the same way. And I'm sure I know they're looking, but I think at a certain time he was just a go-to man, and they gave him a certain amount of rope, and then at some point he decided to let go of that rope.
Yeah. Do you know why? In your research, did you come across why you think he really pulled back from public life?
During the course of the film, 3 out of the 4 of us got married, bought a house, and now have a kid. And one of the things that kept coming up was family. And at the beginning of the film, I don't want to speak for the others, but I think I can. I don't think we could understand it in the same way that we can now, and that family can and should come first.
Right.
And I think at some point he was working so much away from his wife, who was his high school girlfriend, and his kids, and he just wanted to be around more. And I think he kept being pulled away by the studios. And at one point, I think he just he decided to call it in. And when his calling it in wasn't enough, I think he just said, you know what? I'd rather be on a picnic than be on a film set.
Right. And he stuck true to his word, by and large. I mean, he did, I guess, a ghostwrite on Drillbit Taylor.
Yeah.
And he sort of kept his hand in a little bit here and there, but by and large, he just disappeared.
Well, I don't even think he really did ghostwrite Drillbit. While we were making the
maybe or something, yeah.
Yeah, when we were doing the film, rumors came up. There was this. It was really funny because we had heard these rumors that he had all these ideas on scrap pieces of paper in a barn somewhere, and one of the ideas that we heard was about these, group of kids that hire a bodyguard at school. And I think it said care of John Hughes on the little scrap piece of paper. I think that's his extent of involvement in that movie.
Right.
Was an idea in someone's drawer that someone optioned in 1991 or something.
Right.
It was actually really exciting. There was a fan that was following our blog, and in a hockey magazine, there was an interview with him at a Detroit Red Wings and Chicago Blackhawks game. And we were very excited to see that he was out. He was out, and he agreed to do an interview, but it wasn't about the movies. It was about hockey and his Chicago team.
Right.
But that's the only interview I know since 1991. So.
Well, it's very rare, those guys like Johnny Carson did it. I guess John Hughes did it. That step away from public life and just say, that's it, and stay with it. So often people, feel the need to come back and dabble and work a little bit, but these guys actually stuck true to their word.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Matt, thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Richard Crouse.